hit the wrong button. That happens. There we go. There's Carson. Down to 9 in the NBA. We thought we'd be down to 8. That's why we pushed this back until today. We were going to wait until the Clippers-Mavericks series was complete. That series is not complete, thanks to Kawhi Leonard and Kristaps Porzingis in different ways. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the series that are set and more. First, I want to tell you that we are brought to you by our friends at Lammons Fine Jewelry. Lammons at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. It's been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. From engagement rings to wedding rings to fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more, Lammons is the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. I'm coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for our friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Carson, how are you?
Good.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the series let's start with the series that's still going. I asked you a question, then I answered it myself. Dallas and the Clippers have now played 6 games. The road team has won all 6 games. Dallas has won 3 in Los Angeles. And as you might have guessed, the Clippers have won 3 in Dallas. It's the first time in NBA history that has ever happened. Game 7 is tomorrow at 2:30 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. That's 2:30 Central Time. If you're on the West Coast, it's a 12:30 start. It's hard for me, Carson, to get last night completely out of my head. It's one of these series that's gone back and forth. I really thought there were times last night that the Mavericks were getting ready to put them away. Kawhi Leonard was terrific. Reggie Jackson was terrific. Luka Doncic was pedestrian for Luka standards. And Kristaps Porzingis, to a point you've been talking about all along, you've been saying Dallas just doesn't have that number 2 guy. They didn't. Dallas stayed in the game because Tim Hardaway was very good. Dorian Finney-Smith hit a couple of big shots in the second half to kind of keep them in it. But if Dallas had a capable number 2, I think we're talking about a Mavericks advance right now.
Yeah, they win, yeah. I mean, if Porzingis plays, if he puts up 15 points, they win the game. If Luka actually has a good game, not saying he had a bad game, but for Luka, I'd say it's a bad game. He put up, 30. Porzingis put up 15. It'd be a big win.
Luka's never going to be the guy that when they run the double team at him, that he's going to be able to split the double team with athleticism, and he's going to be able to turn down the hill and go to the basket and slam on somebody. He's not Kobe. He's not that guy. What he is a phenomenal passer. He recognizes what they're throwing at him, and he was able to create open shots yesterday. The Mavericks just missed them.
Yeah.
So they go to Los Angeles, where they're 3-0. The Clippers are 0-3 against the Mavericks. What do you look for tomorrow?
To win. I mean, you want everybody to play well. You can get a win, that's great. That's really all you want.
I think the Clippers found something yesterday. They're going to run Kawhi at him. Kawhi is such a great two-way player. They're going to run Kawhi at him along with Morris. They're going to force Dallas to beat them with someone other than Luka. Luka in Game 5 had the 40-something point game. I don't see that happening. I think Luka's going to get in the 20s because Luka gets in the 20s. But I think, and I could be wrong, obviously, we'll find out tomorrow, but I have a suspicion that the Clippers are going to say, nope, we're not going to let you beat us with Luka. We're going to force Porzingis. We're going to force Hardaway. We're going to force Finney-Smith. We're going to force Kleber, other people to beat us. And if they do, then so be it. What I'm interested in, I want to get your thoughts on this. What does Dallas do on the other end with Kawhi? You talked about it last night. You kept saying they're giving him too much space. They're giving him too much space. Do you anticipate Dallas, on the other hand, countering with throwing a double at Kawhi?
They have to, or else he'll do what he did last night.
Because I don't know if you're the Clippers, can you count on that Reggie Jackson outing game after game?
No, I don't think you can. I think he was inconsistent in OKC. I think he's going to still be inconsistent in LA. I think, yeah, he'll have a good game every now and then. I don't think he's going to every night put up 20 points, 15 points.
I do think this is that supporting cast game. This is that which supporting cast can step up. Can you get 17, 18 points out of Kristaps Porzingis? Can Paul George step up with a 25-point game? It's going to come down to that. I don't think Tyronn Lue and the Clippers are going to just allow Luka to have look after look. And then Rick Carlisle, I think, is one of the best coaches in the NBA. He has to be disgusted with a little bit of what he saw last night. But I think they'll attempt to make it more difficult for Kawhi to get into a shooting rhythm. And that is kind of his game. He's excellent at getting to his spot with the jumper.
Every single mid-range shot he took, it went in.
He was very, very good last night. All right, so let's jump into the next series. The winner of that series is going to get the Utah Jazz. Utah, as you and I think both predicted, beat Memphis in 5 games. I didn't think it was the end of the world for Memphis. I thought it was a pretty good, strong showing for them.
It was expected as well.
Yeah, Ja Morant was very, very good. This is a big offseason for the Grizzlies. We'll talk about off seasons a little later, but this is a big offseason for the Grizzlies. They've got decisions to make with just names are escaping me right now. He played at Duke. They got him from the Heat. Justice Winslow. They have a decision to make with his contract. I don't think it's fair completely to judge Jaren Jackson Jr. on his performance because he just missed so much time over the course of the season with injuries. He was a little rusty. I still think he can be a number 2, a number 3 for Ja and Memphis. Memphis is one of those teams. They have a lot of assets. They can make a deal. There are rumors about Paul George and the Grizzlies this offseason. But let's talk about Utah. Utah wins in 5, lost game 1 without Donovan Mitchell, came back, swept the next 4 games of the series. Can either the Clippers or the Mavericks beat Utah?
I think the Clippers have a chance. I don't think I think Dallas has no chance, if I'm honest. And I think the Clippers' chance is really low, too. I think they still have a chance just because who they are, who they have.
Yeah, I kind of think
That Dallas team, it's not deep. I guarantee they can't beat Utah in a 7-game series.
Well, Utah's going to defend really well, and so they're going to throw people who can defend, whether it's Mitchell or Ingles or Clarkson. They're going to throw a variety of people at Luka in a potential 7-game series. Luka's going to have a more difficult time getting to the rim because of the presence of Rudy Gobert.
They'll have to shoot well.
I've been saying this for a while. Utah is a very complete team.
Yeah.
They really don't have any weaknesses. It's one of the reasons that some Grizzlies fans that I know have been kind of upset. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Keep in mind, you're a young team on the rise, and this is a Jazz team that has been building for this moment for a while, and it's very good. Okay, the other Western Conference series, I'm telling you now, is going to be excellent. Denver and Phoenix, 7-game series. It gets started.
2 really close teams as well.
Gets started, I think, on Monday night. Yeah, let's see. I don't know. By the way, I don't know when the Dallas Clippers versus Utah series starts. I would guess Tuesday, but Denver and Phoenix begins on Monday night in Phoenix, 9:00 Central Time. Game 1 of that series. Denver took Portland's best shot and won, and Phoenix defeated the Lakers in 6. I think you predicted that. I bet on the Lakers until the Lakers were out. I had to see the king die. Let's talk about this one. I think this has a chance to be a great series here. I know Chris Paul's not completely healthy. Devin Booker has emerged as a superstar. On the other side, Denver has overcome the loss of Jamal Murray. Nikola Jokic is showing why he's going to win the MVP award. They're getting a lot out of Aaron Murray. Michael Porter Jr. has some selfish moments.
Aaron Gordon, you mean?
What did I say?
Aaron Murray.
I said Aaron Murray. I meant Aaron Gordon. Yeah, Aaron Gordon's had some big moments in that series. Michael Porter Jr. has had some moments as well. He's had a couple of selfish moments early in the series, but he was very good late in the series. This is a Denver team that went deep a year ago in the bubble, and here they are again. They're a tested kind of playoff proven unit going against this Phoenix team that just destroyed the Lakers.
I mean, once again, I feel both of these teams could easily win this series. I just don't know who it is right now.
What are you watching for in terms of keys? What are kind of the early keys for you?
If I know Jokic is going to play good, that's not really a thing to worry about. I think it's, I guess just to see.
Who guards Jokic? Is it Ayton? Is Ayton capable of controlling?
Probably has to be, yeah. I don't know who else can.
That's what Jokic does. Is Jokic is able to come out. He's such a big guy, and he's got the dad bod and all that stuff, and everybody looks at him and goes, no way, that guy's the MVP. And then you watch him play close to the basket. You watch him get out on the perimeter. He can knock threes down. He took Portland out of their defense. He's going to try to do the same thing to Phoenix, which means Ayton has to go out. It opens the paint for guys like Porter, who Porter's a slasher. They've changed kind of the way they play since Jamal Murray's injury. They almost play sometimes with Jokic almost playing the point, which looks crazy.
That works.
But it works. Phoenix, on the other hand, the problem that Denver will have, it's the problem that anybody has when you play Phoenix, is who the hell guards Devin Booker? And if he gets hot, he's almost impossible to stop, yeah. Got an early prediction in that one?
No, not really.
I'm going to go with Denver in 6. Denver wins it at home.
I'm going to say Phoenix in 6, honestly.
All right, so you've got Phoenix winning, clinching the series in Denver. I'm going with Denver finishing the series, Game 6 in Denver. All right, we won't do this show again before the series is known, obviously, because the Game 7's tomorrow. Let's do it if it's this. If it's the Clippers and Utah, what's your pick?
Utah.
In?
Say 6.
Okay, I'll go Utah in 6 over the Clippers. If it's Dallas and Utah.
Utah in 5.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Utah in 5. I'll go Utah in 6. I'll do this. I'll go Utah in 6 either way. I have that much respect for Luka, for Kawhi. I think they both are able to make it a competitive series. But I'll tell you now, I've been saying this for months. I think Utah's going to the NBA Finals. I think they're the best team in the West. Well, okay, real quick before we move on to the East, the Lakers are out. Anthony Davis was hurt, all of that. Is this the end of this iteration of the Lakers? Is this the last of their competitive window?
I think they'll have one more year. Dennis Schroeder and Kuzma, they were not good in that series.
At the end of the day, the one thing that we said about the Lakers haunted them because once Anthony Davis went out, they had to be able to shoot the ball, and they were a team that couldn't shoot it consistently. I think they have to go find shooters, and I don't know where you find shooters right now. And the West just keeps getting better. I mean,
they don't have the trade pieces either.
We just talked about Memphis, for example. Minnesota's going to be better next year. Oklahoma City's going to be better next year. Phoenix isn't going away. I don't know what's going to happen with the Clippers. There's a lot of talk about Portland making big moves. They fired Terry Stotts yesterday. Golden State gets Klay Thompson back. They're going to be a more competitive team. Dallas still has Luka. Presumably will try to add to that and become better. New Orleans is going to be a better team. They're going to add something to Zion. By the way, a very nice Zion Team USA jersey there that you have on. There's a lot. There's a lot there. I think this was the close of the window. I don't think the Lakers are going to be championship competitive a year from now.
And no, I don't think they will. I'm just saying I think they're going to be there. You
think they're going to be a playoff team or a championship?
They'll be a playoff team.
Okay, yeah, I think
not a championship team at all.
Yeah, I think they make the playoffs. That's about as far as I'll go. All right, let's move to the East. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinal is tomorrow at noon. It's the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, and the Hawks beat the Knicks pretty handedly. I thought that series would go 7 games. It went 5. Trae Young did his Hamilton impersonation and bowed
for the fans.
Bowed for the fans at Madison Square Garden. So it's
76ers.
Yeah, Philly and the Hawks.
What's up with Joel Embiid? Is he still out?
Embiid is his status for game 1 is not known. He's got a meniscus tear. He's got meniscus issues in both knees. I'll start here. If you're the Sixers, do you gamble at all with Joel Embiid's career, or do you wave the white flag on this playoffs and protect your franchise?
I mean, if I were them, I think they could still have a good chance of beating the Hawks, even without Joel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as clear of a chance or clear path to the conference finals, but I think if you're smart, you just don't play him.
You know what?
Unless he feels really good.
Well, I have not thought about this. I don't think that's the worst. That's the worst plan I've ever heard. I might, if I'm the Sixers, I might let Embiid. They're saying surgery's not required. I might let Embiid rest this series. And if I win it, because the Eastern Conference Finals would be another 2 weeks from today, right? In 2 weeks, I might be able to better evaluate him. And if I lose to the Hawks without Embiid, I wasn't winning a championship anyway. If I beat the Hawks and I get to the Eastern Conference Finals against either Brooklyn or Milwaukee, maybe I reevaluate it from there. But what I don't do if I'm the Sixers, I've spent so much time with the whole process and all that. What I don't do if I'm the Sixers is risk my franchise health for a run now when I'm probably only going to get better over the next couple of years. I'm still a young team with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and I have some other pieces. I've still got the ability to add to that team if I'm the Sixers front office. If I do something that damages Joel Embiid's career, that's a little bit of franchise suicide, and I don't do that. So I think I buy myself 2 weeks, and if I lose to the Hawks, that decision's made for me. And if I beat the Hawks, I reevaluate what his knee looks like at that point.
I agree. That's really what I would do.
Okay, you've seen these teams play a lot. I know you and I both watch the Hawks a good bit because I think we both are amused, if nothing else, by Trae Young. Trae Young has been cast into the role of villain, and he loves it. Mm-hmm. He's kind of found his identity as an NBA player. He's still awfully young. That's what people forget about Trae Young and Luka Doncic because they've been in the league a minute. People forget these are like 21, 22-year-old guys.
Yeah.
Trae Young's kind of found what motivates him a little bit. He's going to go play at Philly. Philly fans are known for being pretty rough. What do you expect from Trae Young and a Hawks team that's played pretty well here in the last half of the season?
If Joel's out, I think they actually have a good chance at beating them. I think Trae is just going to do what he did against the Knicks. I mean,
it was a decent Knicks team that he just embarrassed.
I wouldn't be shocked if it goes to the Hawks in 6 or 7, if I'm honest. If Joel's not playing. If Joel's playing and he's really good, then I give it to the Hawks and not Hawks, 76ers in 6.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to predict that Joel Embiid does not play. And I think you're right.
And if he doesn't, then I'm saying Hawks in 6.
I think the Hawks win in 6 games.
I don't know why. I just think that team, it looks better on paper without Joel.
If you're the Hawks and you get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, it's big.
Because you're not gonna beat the Bucks or the.
No, I wouldn't think so. But it lets you start thinking about building what pieces you need to add. It proves that Trae Young's not a great defender. In fact, Trae Young's not a good defender. In fact, Trae Young's not an adequate defender. But Trae Young is such an offensive weapon. He's Steph Curry. He's Devin Booker. He's that guy. He's that good offensively that you can overcome it. And frankly, if I'm the Hawks, I start to think about studying a little bit what Golden State did pre-Kevin Durant. What did they surround him with? How did they build that organization? Because I do think Trae Young is a Steph Curry type of talent offensively. All right, the other series, and man, this is going to be the best one. It starts tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo against the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, all on the floor. 6:30 Central Time tonight, game one of that series in Brooklyn. If nothing else, it's going to be
really good series.
I think it's going to be really entertaining. The one thing I'm curious to see with Brooklyn, and I've been saying this for a while, who do you put on Giannis? Because if you put Durant on Giannis and the game gets called closely, Durant's going to have foul issues. And if you don't put Durant on Giannis, who are you putting on him? Blake Griffin? DeMarcus Cousins?
It won't work.
It's a real problem for them. And then on the other hand,
DeMarcus Cousins.
Well, I didn't mean DeMarcus Cousins. I meant DeAndre Jordan. Thank you.
Oh.
Is DeMarcus Cousins even in the league anymore?
He's on I'm pretty sure he's on the Clippers bench.
Okay.
He doesn't even play.
Yeah. Injuries.
Yeah.
Kind of to the Embiid thing.
Yep.
You don't want to play Embiid if he's hurt. On the other side, I don't know if you're Milwaukee, how you decide you're going to defend the big three. And then the big three sometimes is the big four because Harris, with the way that Brooklyn can space the floor, is an offensive weapon. I think this series has a chance to go the distance. I think this series has a chance to be really good. Milwaukee got bounced a year ago. They did soul searching. They addressed it. They changed the way they play. They went out and added Jrue Holiday, who's given them a different dimension. They did lose a guard in that first series. And how do you say his name? DiVincenzo, thanks. He's out. You don't know whether Harden and Durant and Kyrie can stay healthy for an entire series. You don't really know exactly how they all play together. What are you looking for in this?
What do you mean, who guards who? What do you mean?
Yeah, just kind of how do you anticipate this series going? Not necessarily a prediction, but what do you think it kind of looks like?
I think it'll be really tight. I think the Nets are going to have a harder time guarding the Bucks, and the Bucks are going to have a harder time guarding the Nets. Because I feel like they could put Jrue on Kyrie. You put Middleton on Harden. And Giannis, who's one of the best defenders in the league right now, you put him on Durant. And then you go along your way with Griffin and Jordan, whoever else is playing.
Yeah, I try to throw some different things at Durant and use Giannis late on Durant. I don't want to exhaust him on the defensive end guarding Kevin Durant. And the other thing that I do if I'm Milwaukee is I just try to beg Giannis not to get three happy. Because if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I want Giannis Antetokounmpo shooting threes. In fact, when he takes his first three tonight, I hope he makes it if I'm Brooklyn. I want him falling in love with the three, taking the three, because they can guard that. Mm-hmm. What I don't want if I'm Brooklyn is I don't want Giannis
driving to the net every single
attacking. Because I don't know that if I'm Brooklyn that I have anyone who can defend that other than Kevin Durant, which leads me into the one thing I'm most interested in watching. How does this game get officiated? Is it like last night's Game 6 in Dallas where they let them play? There was a lot of physicality. I thought Dallas got away with a lot of fouls. I thought the Clippers got away with a lot of fouls. Late in that series, they're swallowing the whistle. They're letting them play. And if you let Giannis play, he's a danger.
Yeah.
If you call it closely, Kevin Durant's going to spend the entire playoffs on the free throw line. If you call everything closely, he's going to go to the line. All right, prediction time. Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
You go first.
Brooklyn Nets win in 7 games in what will go down as a great series.
Saying the other way around. I'm saying Bucks in 7.
Bucks in 7. I do think it's a 7-game series. I think it's going to be a great series. It's one that I think we've kind of pointed at for a little while, like, oh, this is going to be really good. And here we are. All right, last thing, we talked a little bit about Memphis, some of those teams. The draft is, I think, what you say, June the 22nd?
The lottery.
The
draft's in
the draft,
July.
yeah, the draft lottery, 22nd. The ping pong balls spin in those days.
June 22nd.
June 22nd. You got your eye on one or two guys at the top of the draft right now?
You know who? Cade and really nobody else.
Yeah, I think there's two. I think there's two guys at the very top of the draft that are potentially massive difference makers. I was listening to, and you heard it too. We were listening to a OKC
I
Dream
just don't want
Team.
Mobley because I don't want a big.
We were listening to an OKC Dream Team podcast, and it was Andrew Schlecht, McCready Berra, both really good NBA guys, and they were talking about Cade Cunningham as a generational talent. And I think that's probably right. There were a lot of comparisons to what was interesting. They said his ceiling is Luka, his floor is Chris Middleton. You add Chris Middleton to a Thunder
Any team.
Yeah, it's a good team. And then I can't decide what I think about Mobley. I go back and forth a little bit. I do think Mobley in today's NBA, where you want bigs who can space the floor, he is that guy. He's an elite defender. That's what Mobley doesn't get credit for, is he can really defend. What we don't know about Cunningham is, can Cunningham defend? Because he played on an Oklahoma State team that it was him and a bunch of dudes. And so if he defended and got in foul trouble, it killed him on the offensive end. So what you don't know is, did the coaching staff at Oklahoma State say, hey, look, don't be a hero on defense. Play offense. We need you to score. We need you to facilitate. And if that means we lose a little defensively, so be it, because we can't make up for your offense on the offensive end.
Yeah.
We can probably make up for your defense at times. So we don't know that with Cade. That's what the question that's kind of out there with him. So
Bigs have just never been a reliable take, because every single time you've seen a big taken at the first pick, second pick, they've never been crazy good. I mean, the only thing we've had that's crazy good is Joel Embiid, and that was like 2016.
So there does appear to be some consistency at the top of the draft with most of the draft boards. It's Cunningham, Mobley, a lot of Jalen Suggs at 3, Jalen Green at 4. Sometimes you flip-flop them. Kuminga is pretty much the consensus number 5 pick. And then after that, there's a lot of disagreement about who is 6 through 10. You know, I've seen mock drafts, for example, with Moses Moody, the guard from Arkansas, going as high as 6. And then I saw one the other day where I think he fell to like 12 or 13. So there's a lot of disparate opinion after the top 5 as to what's in this draft. So it'll be the ping pong balls. We might even do a live show the night of the ping pong balls, so we can react in agony or exhilaration in real time as to what happens with the ping pong balls that drop. All right, we'll have lots of college baseball coverage, recruiting coverage here at rebelgrove.com. If you're watching on that page, Ole Miss and Florida State this afternoon, Saturday afternoon at about 3. And then we'll be back with another edition of Chasing the Ring, presented by Lammons Fine Jewelry. I don't know, sometime in the next week or so. I think probably the plan, we'll let some of these playoffs get started so we can talk about what these series look like. Again, game 1 of Milwaukee and Brooklyn is tonight. Atlanta and Philly open their Eastern Conference series tomorrow at noon. And then game 7 of the Western Conference first-round series between Dallas and the Los Angeles Clippers is tomorrow afternoon. So enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy all the college baseball NCAA tournament stuff. And we'll be back with you with the Oxford Exxon podcast early in the week. Until then, take care.